So in terms of what you're doing, where did this inspiration for marketing? Okay, social media is a platform, but you've got to have the ideas. In other words, you identified 200 contacts. Out of those people have 200 each, 40,000. You got good maths. It's great. So where did the idea come from to basically power up your network? Where did that idea come from? Was it books? Was it reading a blog? Was it watching TikTok? Where did the ideas come from?
Yep, I instinctively knew that I had what it took to get shit done. But at the age of 17, 18, you don't know anything. I'm 22. I've sold $180 million worth of real estate. I still don't know anything. So I knew at the age of 17, when I was getting, my business has started, I'm thinking here, like, I'm working relentlessly 8 to 9 hours a day after high school. So I would spend this first 7 hours of the day in school, 6, 7 hours a day in school, and the rest of the night working on this side business, on this marketing agency. But the progress was extremely slow. I'm just thinking, all I need right now is somebody to tell me exactly what to do. I don't need motivation. I don't need someone to teach me how to be disciplined. I've always been a disciplined person because of my upbringing. I'm Filipino. It's because of my upbringing. I've always been disciplined. I don't need that. I don't need somebody to try to pump me up. No, what do I do? What's the actionable step? How do I write this email? What do I say on the phone, on the sales call? That I just knew I needed that one person. So when I got licensed in real estate 6 months into my career, I went to a networking event, and there I met a guy named Jamal, and he was a real estate investor. Whatever, we made a connection, and then he added me to a WhatsApp group chat with like 11 other real estate investors. In there, a bunch of them would send each other deals. Like, oh, what do you guys think about this deal in Toronto? What do you think about this deal in London, Ontario? Whatever it is. Somebody sent a deal in Windsor, Ontario, and I saw the listing agent. His name was Mike Seal. The deal was so good of a deal, I clicked on Mike Seal's profile, his website, and I saw his website, and he had a ton of listings. And I'm thinking, this guy has like 14 active listings. That's a lot of listings. He's killing the game. And it's investment real estate, which is what I'm passionate about. So then I call Mike and I say, like, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. How do you have 14 listings? How do you have 14 people that trust you to sell their property? I don't have a single person that wants to even look my way. How are you doing this? Whatever. He gives me quick advice on the phone. Then I stop and say, Mike, you know what? I'm going to move to Windsor, which is a 5-hour drive away from me. I said, I'm moving to Windsor and I'm going to learn from you. He says, whoa, kid, relax. He said, don't do that. Speak to my friend Jazz Tacker in Toronto. He does very similar things to me, but he's closer to you. Just speak to him and see where that goes. Yeah. I had no idea who this guy was. I ended up Google searching this guy, and Jazz at the time was the #1 real estate broker across Royal LePage Canada. And for your listeners that don't know Royal LePage, it's the Canadian equivalent to Keller Williams. So it's a massive organization. It's probably the second biggest one in Canada behind Remax. Anyway, I called Jazz and I say, Jazz, I got your number from your friend Mike Seal. I was ready to make the move to Windsor, Ontario, just to work with him. But instead, he asked me to reach out to you. He says, no problem, Luke. How long have you been in the business for? I said, 6 months. He said, how old are you? At the time, I was 19 years old. And he says, well, how many deals have you done? I said, 0. He says, well, unfortunately, we don't take on new agents. Well, I said, well, Jazz, you're making a big mistake if you don't meet me. And then he was like, he was quiet for like 7 seconds. And then he was like, all right, meet me on Monday. He texted me a link to his calendar. I booked a time slot for 8 a.m. on a Monday. Showed up, dressed well, showed up early. And he says, before you even spoke, I knew we were going to take you on the team because you had the right attitude. So to answer your question, Jeff, networking to me is the most important thing. I think anytime I start any business, I look at the top of the industry and I then think, how do I bring that person value? I might not know anything now. I might not have the secret sauce to propel their business within the next 2 months. But I mean, if they like me because of my attitude, my persona, whatever it is, that's enough to get my foot in the door.